open up the workshop. There's no need to call the roll call at this time. But state on the record that, in the audience, who's present before we proceed. We have with us, Kimberly Horn Associates, and they're gonna come in before us. How long is your presentation gonna be?
It could be 15, 20 minutes, but it's really up to you guys, how
Okay.
long you want to talk about.
Any
it.
additional questions? Okay. Mr. Manager, if you don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and let them start.
No, sir.
All right. The floor is yours, sir.
Right.
Here you go.
Thank you.
It should be coming up.
Okay. All right, well, we can pause for a second, the commission.
Yeah.
All rise.
Ready to see it.
Okay, Judge, so we'll go ahead and call this workshop to order.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Almazan,
Here.
Collins, Reese,
Yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah. Now, can we get the approval of the workshop, please, for the agenda?
So move.
Motion by Vice Mayor Amazon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reese. All right, call the roll.
Almazan,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
Wilson.
All right, now it's official, thank you, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for letting us present with you today. My name is Colin Wheeler. I'm an airport planner with Kimberly Horn and Associates. With me today, you guys know Tom O'Donnell, who's been serving the city for many years. So today was really, I know that we've had a couple conversations over the last couple years about getting this, let's just call it a master plan, but what it's really technically called is an airport layout plan update. So today, the purpose of today was really to try to have a conversation with y'all to kind of get this project moving in the right direction as we start diving into some of the elements of the master plan. So I will take your lead in terms of how this first part goes, but just wanted to kind of give y'all an overview of what this looks like. Some of you may have already been through this process with the airport previously, but very briefly, just kind of want to go what to expect out of this project, and then just discuss a little bit about goals, vision, things like that, so that when we go back to the office, we'll have some information to get this project moving forward, and then start looking at things like project schedule, when do we want to have some stakeholder discussions, potential public meetings, et cetera. So with that, are you guys able to see a screen that also shows up here? Okay.
Behind you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So again, my name is Colin Wheeler with Kimberly Horn and Associates. I've been doing airport planning for about 16 years now at airports, very large and very small. We were fortunate enough to spend an hour earlier today to go out and talk to a few of the tenants out at the airport, and it's always a treat to get to be out on the ground at any airport. So with that, if anything is something that you have already seen before, or you're all well aware of, please just say next, it's totally fine. First off, what is an airport layout plan? So generally speaking, about every 8 to 12 years, the FAA and in a state like Florida DOT, they want any publicly funded airport to have a plan in place that's regularly updated, and it really just lays out a 20-year time frame for what an airport sponsor wants to do at the airport. And so that's everything from services and facilities to removing obstacles to infrastructure plans, everything that you can possibly think of. So this project is going to be about a 12 to 18-month project. We have a number of meetings with you and tenants to really discuss what are the things that are at the airport today, where do we see trends going in the future in terms of operations, number of aircraft, what's happening in this part of the state that may inform what our long-term plan looks like. And so all along the way, we want to make sure that this is not just consultants telling you, here's what you need. We want to make sure that this plan is something that's reflective of not only the aviation needs that we've identified, but also something that the community supports and that can be implemented. So that means we got to make sure that we're putting plans out there that y'all can afford, that are good return on investment, and something that really builds toward a future that is a financially self-sustainable airport to the extent that we can possibly make it. Through this process, the next slide will kind of walk you through a little bit of the step-by-step a little bit more, but ultimately at the end of this, you're going to have a narrative report that's going to document everything that we've done and all the recommendations, everything from just what's there at the airport today to how much is everything going to cost and when would we want to program it. The other piece of that is the airport layout plan itself, which is a set of sheets that the FAA requires that looks at everything that's from a services and facilities infrastructure standpoint, also airspace, what are the things that are on your approaches and departures, things that we need to be looking at in terms of any sort of obstacle removal. Is there any incompatible land use, things like that. You guys are very well aware of some of these things, but we want to make sure that we're doing a deep dive, and all along that time, we want to make sure that we're coordinating with the tenants and stakeholders that are out there, with the community representatives, make sure that we're not just looking at things from what is the best for the airport, but what is best for the community as it sees the airport. And you guys will also be implement or be an important part of that process as well. So very quickly, what does this project look like? So it kind of falls into 3 buckets and then our deliverables. So first off, we're going to be documenting everything that's at the airport. I know it's a small airport, but you can't imagine how many things that you need to evaluate while you're out there. So we're going to look at everything in terms of what's on the ground, what's the land use, zoning, airspace, are there obstacles, are there any things out there that we need to know that we need to have a plan for. In conjunction with that, we'll be doing forecasts of aviation demand. And so with that, we want to look at, obviously the agricultural sprayers that are out there are the majority of activity out there. So we want to be having conversations with them. Are they looking at, expanding the number of aircraft that they have? Are they looking to grow their businesses that might impact what's out at the airport? And the reason why we want to know that is, will capacity ever be an issue? Probably not in an airport like this. You're probably not going to have too much activity where you're going to need another runway. But we want to make sure that those aircraft can get on and off the airfield as efficiently and safely as possible. The other thing we want to make sure that we understand is, how many hangars should we be thinking about? You're going to have space for those hangars. You're going to need utilities. You're going to need apron and other pavements and things that connect to that infrastructure. So those forecasts really help us understand where have you been, where are you now, and where do we think things are going, and what infrastructure is going to be needed based on that. So that leads into the facility requirements. So if we know what's there today and we know where things are trending in terms of how many aircraft and operations you're going to have, we can then identify services and facilities that either you don't have, ones that may be needed based on just that demand, but also what are the people in the community and the tenants that are out at the airport telling us. So we want to focus on the things that the community needs, not just what we think is the right thing. From that, we then have a punch list of all the projects that we want to look at, but we can't just say you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. We want to make sure that we're doing it in a proper way. So we want to evaluate all those services and initiatives by creating some evaluation criteria. We want to do a full alternatives analysis. For example, I know that the runway shifted recently, but if we were looking at new aircraft might be coming out to the airport, what would a runway extension look like? Do we go one direction? Well, there's roads, there's factories, there's a lot of things in there. So we need to look at everything that we're recommending and evaluate that to make sure that we have the right recommendation and that we're doing it the right way. Those things can be environmental considerations, financing considerations. We'll work with you to develop whatever criteria that you think is the best in order to move forward with those. And then once we're done with that, we'll have a series of recommended alternatives. We'll start then evaluating when, over the course of the next 20 years, based on, again, how important of a project is it? What's the financial capacity of the city to fund any of this, or with grant support? What does the timeline look like that? And then Tom and his team will be helping us to identify costs for all of these things. And ultimately, what we want to have for you is a punch list of projects with the costs associated and a plan that we can implement. Not every airport can get what they want all the time, but we want to try to put a path forward that we can try to enhance the advantageous location and the service and facilities that you have today, and try to make sound investments moving forward to try to grow this airport into exactly what you want it to be over the next 20 years. Any question? I don't know if questions or discussion is permissible, but just on the procedural piece of that, is there any questions?
If they do, they'll stop you. And
Okay,
go ahead. Yeah.
thank you. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that before we really dive in and start doing this inventory and forecast, we wanted to make sure that from the city's perspective, we're taking this project on with the understanding of what your goals and your vision are for the airport. So, these are the kind of boilerplate. This is what we want to make sure that the plan has, is that we're focusing on meeting the demand that's been identified. So if you have tenants out there saying, we want to have 4 more aircraft, but we can't do it until we have a hangar, we got to figure out a way to make that hangar happen, right? And we also want to make sure that we're focusing on safety. Yes, sir.
Tom's been out several times, and he's worked with Darren for quite some time, but just for the commission's benefit, you mentioned this is primarily an ag airport, which it is, and always has been for 30, 40 years or more. But with the commission moving forward and putting the T hangars in there, that's going to change it. And you need to make the commission aware of that once they approve moving forward with the T hangars, that's going to change that quite a bit.
It will.
There's a huge demand for T hangars. They're looking for them all over the state. I know that in Belle, that's a really nice airport, and they have a waiting list for T hangars. So you might want to just touch on that briefly.
Yeah, that's a very large development. So T hangars are, if you don't know what they are, they're nested buildings back and forth. So that's maximizing the amount of space that you have to build in order to accommodate the largest number of aircraft that you can. So they call them Ts because the aircraft are like back-to-back Ts. So when we were out there today, it looked like there was about 12 aircraft and 11 of them are ag sprayers. But you start building hangars, now the overall trajectory, the composition of your airport changes. You want to make sure that you're doing what's in the best interests of not only your current tenants, but future ones as well. And it's a good thing that you brought that up, because I think the biggest challenge facing the airports that we work with, at least the non-commercial ones these days, is hangar space. It's pretty well known that I think hangars nationwide are like between 95 and 98% filled. So it is there is a wait list at almost every hangar, but you got to make sure that your wait list, that you've identified what does your wait list actually mean, because everybody wants to move their plane to a cheaper place. It's who are the people that are willing, they have the rent money, or they're able to help, pony up money for development. Because in addition to that T hangar, well, now maybe you're talking about something like having a self-fueling station. You want to make sure that they have that capacity. Well, self-fueling, that may introduce a few other people that might be flying from Miami up to Atlanta. Maybe they want to stop and fuel. So
That's the direction the airport's going, and the commission needs to be made aware of that.
Right. So it's no longer quite as focused on one type of activity at the airport. Now you're going to have new users, you're going to have different types of airplanes, and we want to make sure that what we're doing in this plan is accommodating that type of a future as well. And then just lastly, we did talk about, the financial standpoint is one that we're all acutely aware of. You don't want to have a plan in front of you that's just a dream that will never come to fruition. So you want to make sure that you're looking at things and have all the information that you need moving forward to implement that plan, which is why it's really important to have planners like myself working with the engineers, because they're the ones that keep us in check. We want to make sure that we're reflecting everything that we all get excited about for the airport, but at the same time, you have to have that plan for integration, because otherwise then you're just left with a piece of paper. Let's see. So this is the point of the discussion where I would have opened it up to you guys for just some general thoughts of what we want this plan to be able to look like in terms of reflecting the city's and the community's objectives. So you know, these are the questions that we would probably ask at the beginning of a project like this, such as, you know, is there anything specific that you want at your airport that you already know? What role does, we're going to have conversations with tenants and stakeholders, but to what extent and how do we want some of those meetings to look like? So the way that we've scoped this project, we have 3 specific stakeholder meetings that usually correspond with kind of a kickoff. This is not one of those meetings, but we'll come in, we'll make sure that we're having the conversations with the people that you want to be part of this plan. So we'll tell them, kind of similar today, here's what we're going to do. We want to present some of the work that we've already done by that point. So we'll probably have a little bit of forecast information, and we'll want to know, similar to this, you know, what do you see is important at the airport? How do we want to make sure that we're approaching this project? And then the other part too is we also have 2 public meetings, usually for airports, because it's everybody's interested in airports, but they don't always know exactly, you know, what goes on at an airport unless it's a commercial airport. So we want to make sure that the community has an opportunity to understand this project, have input, provide, you know, some feedback as to what they're interested in. I find that having open house type forums for those is really good because you can spend plenty of time. It's not a formal presentation. So if that's something that you guys would be amenable to, we would love to propose something like that. And then also, you know, just understanding that FAA and FDOT are usually the funding sources that support airport sponsors in the state, making sure that we understand what sort of mechanisms are available as we start refining this plan. Yes, sir.
Let Tom just briefly bring the commission up to where we're at on
Please.
some of this stuff, because you're making an excellent presentation, but they need to be kind of back up in it and bring them forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. For the record, Tom O'Donnell with Kimley Horn and Associates. Just to dovetail what my partner has been explaining to you, let's break this into 2 pieces. The stuff that he is talking about is the plan for the next 20 years, looking out into the future. What you have heard me speak about in the past at many of the meetings that I've attended is more from the present to the near future, which would be 5 years. So we work very closely with your staff to put together a capital improvement program that rotates through every 5 years. Currently, some of the projects that we are working on are the master retention area, which is located in the northern part of the airport. That project has been bid. You've received bids, and I believe it's on the agenda tonight to award that we were successfully asked the state to give us some additional funds in order to make that project happen, and they are giving them to us. So that project will be happening over the next year to complete that. In addition to that, also, we are working on your maintenance building, which will be constructed in the southeastern corner of the property. And then we also have in the plans, as my partner was talking about, the potential for T-hangers. We have been working with your staff for the last 5 years or so to program into the capital improvement program to put T-hangers at the airfield, because they are a good source of revenue for the cities. And the state likes to fund projects like that because they reap sort of immediate rewards, right? As my partner mentioned before, there is a shortage, and as the city manager mentioned, there is a shortage on hangars, not only nationally, but specifically in South Florida area. There is a great need. I've talked to your director of finance several times. She gets phone calls often for people that are interested in hangars. So that has already been programmed into the capital improvement program. But now, since the state has funded this project that my partner is speaking to you about, we have a good opportunity to sort of highlight the future, the next 20 years, and do a deep dive, and sort of at the same time make a check and, you know, check ourselves and make sure that the next 5 years are programmed correctly for what you all and the citizens would like to get out of their airport. And then if we're going in the right direction, then we keep the capital improvement program going in that direction. If we're not, then we make adjustments along the way in order to refine that briefly. So I'm going to stop. The fuel, oh yes, thank you very much. Along with the T-hangers, we also have programmed in a self-fueling facility to go along with the T-hangers. Which is, again, yes, definitely, another source of revenue, correct, yes.
So just for the record, we recognize Commissioner to Quella Collins on the record, okay? So Tom and Colin, if I can just start, I think you guys are absolutely right. We knew a couple of years ago, and by the way, Kimberly Horn and Associates, they've been finding resources to help us out. And we know when they're putting funding there, we gotta do something different. It's not just good, as the manager, you guys indicated, not just good for ag in the near future, but small business. Now, I guess my question would be, you guys, we need to start putting the pieces together. And I know my colleagues probably think the same way. It's good to get the community input so we can build that puzzle from there. Because we always have the ideas, but we want to hear from our community. And when they give us all the ideas, then we tie it in. We know the T-hanger's it's there, and we also know self-fueling. But what else do they project to have out there as a small municipal airport? I know when I go towards Lantana, I see a lot of small planes, and I say, wow. They started many years ago, and I know there was some issues there. Are you guys a part of that too with the Lantana?
No, sir. Currently, we're not working for the Department of Airports. Many years ago, in like the 90s, we did,
I
but
thought when I
yeah.
was on the NPO, I thought Kimberly, okay.
yeah, not, in the 1990s, yes, we
Yeah,
definitely,
okay.
yes.
And also, Tom, where you're putting that building, is that going to help rectify that problem the commission's wrestled with for years pertaining to the environmental issue?
Yeah, thank you so much for mentioning that, City Manager. The maintenance facility that he's discussing, that is the start of trying to correct the issue with if you all recall, there's about a football field or so of contaminated material that it's located there. This is something that's been known for many decades. But the intent is we're trying to correct that as quickly as possible, but it's going to take some time. The first step in all this is the maintenance facility that the city manager mentioned. So yes, absolutely.
Are you also going to be adding fill to the north-south runway? Are you doing anything on that?
So the northwest area, we have currently completed a set of plans to try to bring fill in to correct that matter. Again, we're projecting that right now the estimate on the opinion of how much that's going to cost is about roughly $7 million to fill that whole area. It's a very large area. The state has asked us to break that up into more feasible costs. Thank you. I was trying to say that delicately. They want us to break it up so that they could fund projects to help you all correct that problem. And what we're roughly looking at is probably 7 specific breakups of that.
Okay. So for you guys to help us, and I'll yield to my colleagues in a second, it would be good to start with the community input. Those town hall meetings, not similar to a workshop, because when we talk about workshop, they think it's just for the commissioners. We have to label it like town hall as it relates to the airport. So now it's a buy-in for them. And as they begin to give you ideas, and we'll build it from there. So it's all 10, 20 years. So I really, really like what you guys are doing. But that's my opinion. I want to hear from the community as well. So I'm going to yield to my colleagues. We'll have Dr. Reese, Commissioner Reese, been recognized.
Okay, thank you so very much. Now, there are a couple of things that I guess I have questions concerning. These T-hangles, are those being able to use for flight training for private individuals who might be coming in?
Yeah, so in theory, a flight training operator can absolutely be based out of a T-hanger. So you would need to make sure that whoever the flight trainer is like, current with FAA, with all their appropriate, licenses and things like that. So it doesn't matter whether they're in a box hangar, a T-hanger, as long as you have a qualified trainer, they can operate out of pretty much anywhere, including as long as their aircraft is airworthy, just a tie down on the apron too.
Well, one of our local schools just began a flight training program, and they're starting with the 9th graders. And at some point, they're going to need to use the airport's facilities. So, are there any provisions that will be made for them so that they can do it here locally as versus trying to go someplace else?
Yeah, and in fact, if you happen to have a contact for the school or the flight
Yes.
program, we would probably want them to be a stakeholder in this process so that we can better understand what their business needs would be and how we could potentially have that, out of Belle Glade. And the other thing too is that sometimes you'll have a flight trainer who will be based at one airport, but they may go practice at another airport. So, but generally, we would just want to know, what the program is about, what sort of services and facilities they need, and if they've identified another airport, is there a plan that we could have as part of this master plan to figure out how could we make sure that they have that opportunity to operate here if it makes sense to do so?
Well, they want to operate here because all the
Great.
students are here. I know that the grand opening for the program is tomorrow,
Oh,
and they're beginning with the ninth graders. So by the time they get in 11th or 12th grade is when they want to be able to provide the wing aircraft training. So again, those type of provisions need to be made. Now, you spoke of planes coming to fuel up here at this airport. I think that's an excellent idea. I do know that on some occasion there have been private planes that wanted to land here in order to do business. Are there provisions going to be made for those type of situations where they're coming in, they have a lounge area or something where they can, okay.
absolutely. So I mean, these types of questions means that you probably want this or would at least want us to investigate it. So that's what we want this. The only thing that we are obligated to follow, because this is a state-funded project, we have to make sure that we're following FDOT's guidance on how to do master plans. And here in Florida, they defer to the FAA. So the FAA has, this is the advisory circular that you are required as you're accepting these funds. You have to follow these steps. But how we follow these steps and who is helping us make those steps is completely up to you because it's your airport. So all that's to say is if a pilot lounge or some sort of an admin building, whether that's maybe where you'd have a part-time manager office, maybe some maintenance, maybe some just general office space, pilot lounge, those are the types of things that we want to be having those conversations with you because then we would say, if this is an initiative that city would like to either look for funding for or potentially put together some sort of a capital plan for, that's what we want your airport to look like. Absolutely.
Because I can envision that because there are some who comes to the airport at Pahokee because they can practice landing there, but again, if they have a meeting here, they can land there and go to a local a meeting. So, I would like to see something like that so that major corporations that may be coming to the community want to look at it, be able to land, have a place where they can lounge as well as before they tour the city.
Yeah. And just to make one small clarification, so my partner here, imagine he's the person that's putting together your vision of the future. My role is implementation. So these near future elements, that would be something that I would be responsible for in helping you all get through that process. We can put many things into the master plan ALP update that represent your vision, and it will help me and your staff immensely because it'll give us a roadmap to the future. So look at him, the things that you're asking from him, he's going to create the roadmap that I and your team will follow going into the next 20 years.
Perfect. You help find the money, right?
And I will help find the money. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Mr. Reese, any additional comments?
No, again, I just want to make sure that we're looking at those options because that's a definite economic generator for our community and making it easy access. Because I think, especially with the President Trump coming on weekends, that limits places to land on the East Coast. And so this could be an option for someone to land and be able to travel over to West Palmas versus trying to land in that area.
It's a lot easier for a student pilot at an airport like this than it is over on the east side, for sure.
Sure.
All right, Commissioner Collins, you recognized for comments. Okay, Vice Mayor Amazon.
I have a few. Looking at the future, I think, before I get too ahead of other questions, security is a concern, back in the days, 9/11, there was rumors or, those guys looking at our plane, so how would security be in that plan to enhance where it's restricted, versus a card check-in for, the commercial businesses that are there, the ag does, or even for the general T-hanger people that come in where, we gotta have a line of defense. We just can't have, open gates there and stuff, so that would be one of my concerns looking to the future, security. I know the ag industry's always been there. They've been, supporting the city or holding that. Just the way it was established, they're right there almost off of residential and stuff. How much potential relocation for them, to another end or another section would it be where then we could put where they're at, maybe T-hangers or something? Not kicking them out, just looking to see the possible, hey, y'all be better off situated maybe on the southeast corner or east corner or something, just to think about it. And I've spoken to you, Mr. Tom, the utilities, they're right off of Gator Boulevard. We had an issue 2 or 3 years ago where somebody hit it. I'm really concerned about that because they're right there. They hit those power lines, not that they need them to take off, but, now you're shutting down the airport, maybe that they're waiting for a paperwork or something. They're right off of Gator Boulevard there.
Can you remind me, please, when you're talking about the concern with the utilities, is it about the pilots or about the public?
Public, they're right off, they're on the Gator, on the eastman off of Gator Boulevard, right? I'm not sure which.
I remember the conversation now, yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Yes.
those are my concerns. Maybe when we have this master plan, we can move them somewhere, maybe to the corner of the facilities or somewhere else where we can take them off of Gator Boulevard. I think there's 2, in matter of fact, I've noticed. Those are that. Again, you brought up the contamination we have there with stuff. Would the city applying for Brownsfield project, would that help in some of the mediation? Or that's independent?
So my involvement at the airport started in roughly 2016. We've been trying since then to find many different alternatives to how to solve this problem. A lot of it is fiscal, really. We did look into brownfields at one point, and for some reason that didn't pan out. We were even trying to work out a deal with the state where effectively it was like, I don't want to say a loan, because that's not, they would front money and then there would be credits that were bought that recovered that money, not money that you guys would have to pay, but it would eventually recover itself, and that the state didn't want to participate in that either. So it's a very challenging issue. Right now, we think the best avenue is to try to complete the design that we have right now, and then lobby the state to try to give us a grant through the traditional methods that we've been getting right now, and see how that works. If I may, just going back to Dr. Reese, the Director of Finance reminded me that as part of the development of the maintenance building, there will be an office that is located there, and in the interim, perhaps that if there's itinerant travel, people could use that space if the city does allow them to do that, to sort of collect themselves and at least have like a rendezvous, or even if it's this company that you're talking about with training the young people, they can, if with the city's permission, they could use that space as well. Maybe a good option. I thought it was a good one. So
I think it's a good idea as well. So yeah.
yes, sir.
So, Colin, since you're gonna be the facilitator, you can see you're getting the pieces for this roadmap. And as we start this, I think, Tom, the most important thing that we have to find a way, because we're gonna be dead in the water if we start having these community engagement and we don't have a resource mechanism to address the contamination. We gotta have something ready for that.
Yes, sir.
If we have answers for that, everything else should go smooth for us. And so we gotta think outside the box, how we can be prepared for that. I'm looking forward, I'm sure my colleagues are looking forward, so we can put all this together and start with those community stakeholders, how they project, or how they like to see our airport. And I wanna say to you guys, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
We're excited. Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Manager, anything else?
Yes, sir, I'd just like to point out that Kimley Horn's been with us for quite some period of time. They have been, the things they've done towards that airport are just fantastic. And they've probably helped bring in to improve, make all those improvements that you see happening out at the airport, probably already to this point, over $5 million. So Kimley Horn has been very, very, very great for the city of Belle Glade.
Can't argue with you, but I think Tom was here when we had one or two of our colleagues talked about that.
Yes, sir.
That's not gonna go away, so we have to just figure out how we can get that done and at least have an answer for it as we begin to get the community input.
It's my mission to solve that problem, sir. I will not rest until I help you guys and exhaust all the options that I have.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yes, I just want to thank both of y'all for your presentation, Tom, for all the work you've done out there. Just like the manager says, I don't want to repeat everything, but thank you for all your expertise, leadership. I know that airport has potential, especially with the T hangars coming up and the need. So that's our goal, to hopefully increase revenue for our city. So thank you for that.
We scored big when we got you guys, so, you know,
It's our pleasure.
thank you.
Absolutely. So,
Any question from the audience? We have our staff here. Any you guys have any, Mr. Manager, I wanna, if you allow me to reach out to your staff if they have any comments or questions.
Everything good.
Okay? Okay? All right. Thank you so much, guys.
thank you. Looking forward to working with you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Commissioner, if there's no other comments or questions, we'll go ahead and close out this workshop, okay? We have about 15 minutes for the next one.
Stacy.
Okay, check your mics, commissioners. All right, we're gonna go ahead and call this, workshop to order for Monday, March 17 at, 5 PM. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Amazon. Collins.
Here.
Reese.
Here.
Wilson.
Here. Approval of agenda for the workshop, please.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reese. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Amazon. Collins.
Here.
Aye.
I meant aye.
Yeah. Reading to the record, Madam Clerk, item of discussion for this workshop, please.
Item 1, discussion of Basin H1 Stormwater Improvement Project from HBC Engineering Company.
All right. Okay, all right. So I assume, Mr. Neal, you're gonna take the lead on this?
Yes, sir.
Recognize, Vice Mayor Adams, President, okay? Take it away, Neal.
Yeah, always. Good evening, Mayor and Commission, City Manager, City Clerk, staff and guests. For the record, Neil Appel, Purchasing Manager. In July of 2024, we issued a notice to proceed in a contract to HBC Engineering to design our Basin H1 stormwater improvements. At this time, the design documents are at 60% completion. Usually at 60% completion, presentations made to these elected officials to get their input on which way or any improvements or any other change that should be made in the drawings. At this point, I'd like to introduce Mr. Hernan Lugo. He's the Transportation Manager and Vice President at HBC Engineering. He's going to take over.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, and public. My name is Hernan Lugo. I'm HBC Vice President, and I'm the project manager for this project. As Mr. Neal was saying, this is just an overview of the project to give the opportunity to get some feedback from you or from anybody from the public, right? So we are working on the Basin H1 stormwater improvement, which is a part of the stormwater master plan of the city of Belle, Glade. Notice from this meeting has been published and distributed on a door-to-door basis around the neighborhood, also on the city website and on social media, both on Facebook and YouTube. This is the team that is working on the project. Mr. Al Caruso, representing City of Belle Glade, Adebayo Coker, who is the principal in charge, myself here, I'm the project manager, Alejandra, the project engineer. We have Melanie Gomez also with HBC as a public involvement officer, Alicia Gonzalez, public involvement, and we have Isela Camino and Dayana also assisting us on this public involvement part of the project. So as a part of the presentation, we have to disclose this Title VI non-discrimination statement and contacts for the city of Belle Glade is required to comply with the various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regards of race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. If anybody has any question about this, you can contact Charlie Innocent, and the information is shown on the screen. We would like to get some feedback from you and from the city, so we have prepared some comments form that can be filled out here at the desk, or it can be after the meeting. It can be emailed to Al Caruso, the information on the screen, mail it to the city address, or by phone at 954-632-9842. We have identified most of the stakeholders on the vicinity that are going to be on the area of this project, right? I mean, there are a lot of them. We have some churches. We have, of course, the fire department, the city hall, the chamber, some funeral homes, McDonald's, Park, Winn-Dixie, Village Market. We have, I think, some hydraulic companies, Florida Insurance, Chamber of Commerce, and of course, all the homeowner associations that reside on this area. Jerry Thomas Apartment, Houston Realty and Investment, R&D Apartments, Glade View Elementary, and Gulf Elementary. The project location is bounded by Martin Luther King on the north side, Canal 1 on the south side. It's between 5th Street and 4th Street on the west, and Main Street on the east side. This is 48 acres out of Basin H, which is the largest on your stormwater master plan. This is just one portion of it, and it's 10 for 48 acres. So what is the objective of this project? Is to address ponding and flooding issues on the project area and reduce flood risk. Provide stormwater treatment by efficient capture and removing pollutants from the water before it's discharged into the canal, and enhance resiliency and accessibility, ensuring safe and resilient infrastructure, creating a safer environment. So these are the existing condition. As we know, the system is obsolete or actually not working at all, or is not present at all. So the area is very flat, very low infiltration, so ponding is an issue on this area. Project improvements anticipated for this project consist of one hydrodynamic device, which is going to be installed downstream. This device is going to provide water quality control. So all the water is going to pass through this device. It's going to do some centrifugal movement and going to separate the pollutants, and then the water discharge will be, of course, cleaner. We have also stop outs for few. Let me see if this has one. Oh. Does this have a pointer? Does this have a pointer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, that's fine. If you can see the number 1 at the bottom of the screen, that's where the downstream device is going to be located, which is just before the outfall to the canal. The orange lines are basically the trunk lines for the drainage system. And then we're going to install a series of a manhole and catch basin to collect and convey the stormwater to the final destination. That will be the Canal 1 for the South Florida Conservancy District. We're also going to be providing, you see the number 2 right there by the City Hall. It's a conversation that we have had with the city engineer. There's a proposed stormwater improvements for the City Hall area, so that's going to be able to provide service to that area as well for the future. It's going to be in total of approximately 7,300 linear feet of a new drainage pipe for this area, and approximately 100 new structures, as I mentioned, consisting of catch basins and manholes. This is a rendition of how the stormwater device at the end of the system is going to look like, which is a water quality device structure. It's also known as a downstream defender. So consideration that we have been taking into this project, number 1, safety is a paramount, right? We are considering construction activities will occur only during daytime hours. And we have envisioned maintaining safe and efficient traffic flow by keeping access to the property owners, residents, and businesses at all time. We're always going to have one lane open, right? We're going to close half of the road to do the installation of the main trunk line, and we're going to keep the traffic on the other half with the flagging operation, because the roads, as you know, are very narrow. So, but we're going to always keep traffic flow, avoiding shutting down of the street. So schedule and cost, the project is estimated, the design to last for 206 days. Construction is estimated to 270 calendar days, so that will be a total of 476 calendar days for the overall project. And the estimated cost for the improvements is at 2.5 million. This concludes the presentation, so if anybody has any questions or
But, so let me just start, and I'm sure my colleagues will join me with this concern. Mr. Manager, so it's very important that, and this is gonna be a year, probably, year and 30 days to complete in its entirety. In a small community like this, it's very important that the traffic flow have to continue. Folks will get frustrated, so Mr. Manager, I think at some point, we need to start being ahead of the game, if you don't mind, and my colleagues, you guys help me with this. Getting the information out there to the public at large, so they understand whenever it's deemed ready to go, to be prepared for the delay, because what was it on 7/15? You know, all the issues came up with that, and we didn't let the people know. I just think we need to be more proactive in letting folks know that, look, y'all, getting ready to happen. We have a social media person there. Start letting these folks know that it's gonna happen, there will be delays. But the good thing is, you invest in a lot of money to make sure that we do things unlike on the East Coast. I compare us to the East Coast. We're not there yet, but we're doing a good job out here. And it costs a lot. But all these major businesses, McDonald's and K&M Drug, that's the major hub for us. And so I don't know how we're gonna do it, Mr. Manager. And again, when would the start date be? Do we have an idea?
Well, Mr. Mayor, this is just designed, whenever we put this out to bid and we start that process, then at that time, we will not only do door hangers, but we will work with the public.
So when you do will this like another 3 months, you said 4 months?
Sir?
Would this be another 3 or 4 months, even with the,
It'll be longer than that.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just
I
a
guess-
question. I'm sorry.
In looking at this, how would Main Street be impacted by the construction? Because it look like most of it's being done in neighborhoods.
yes, we're not impacting Main Street at all. So let me go back to the diagram. Unfortunately, I cannot find the pointer here, but if you see the green dots, they're basically off Main Street, right? We're gonna stay on F Avenue, just before Main Street and on the west side, and we're gonna stay just south of Martin Luther King.
No drainage is going, of what they're proposing,
Yes.
will have anything to do with Main Street.
Okay. So I guess that's why I'm trying to understand the impact.
It's going to be in
Dixon.
the residential area.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yes, sir.
Correct, you're correct.
Okay, so what we're saying though is that, whenever we start, we need a timetable that we can share with those residents of when they're gonna be impacted so that they can prepare for those things.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So, having said that then, when we get closer to that point, Mr. Manager, we definitely need to get a plan of action. All right, commissioners, any? Yeah, Vice Mayor.
Would you be working on one street at a time? Because sometimes I see construction trying to do, all the digging at the same time, affecting I think it would be, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business or who the contractor is. But if they concentrate on one street, finish that street, jump to the next street, finish that street and jump. 'Cause we don't, our residents, like you said, the roads are tight. So we don't want to have all the streets impacted at the same time. So if, whoever the contractor is, whatever gets it, if he let's say, okay, it's Southwest First Street. Put it in, dig that street, finish it, then start on Second Street. and then go all the way down street by street, because sometimes I've seen it in other cities, you know, they start on one street and then they go to Fourth Street and then they come back to First Street and then they go to Third Street. You know, try to at least, you know, if you get on First Street, get in there, do it. We don't want to have all our residents complaining when we can have one street at a time. But we just concentrate on these 30 houses or whatever, and we know that we're working with them. You finish with them, then we'll work with the next group, and so on and so forth. That would be my recommendation.
That's a very good point, sir. As you can see, basically the streets on the south side, there's only one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
Yes, that is through F Avenue. So those could be done once at a time or start on because they're basically isolated. Once you pass F Avenue, yes, you have the connection to Martin Luther King. But at this time, we're working on the design. That will be more means and method for the contractor that is going to be hired for this. We can guide them or put some restrictions on the general notes for the plans, saying I'm going to work this with you, of course. So if you want to do one street at a time, so that way they can bid the project accordingly. Because sometimes the contractor, they just want to come in and out and get paid, right? But if we tell them ahead of time, hey, this is the way that we want you to do it, so they will consider that and include it, roll it into their bid to make sure, you know, that is in accordance with what you're asking for.
I think it's also will be important for us to discuss with the fire chief, because again, they will be greatly impacted by this, whatever time frame that would be, because again, they have to have emergency exit, and emergency exit for them is on Second Street. So,
Yes.
do we know what the plans are? Are we going to be talking with the fire chief and trying to make sure that we don't interfere with the emergency?
Well, I haven't personally spoken with the fire chief, but again, we're gonna keep always access to every street. And of course, once the construction begin, there will be one of the first person to coordinate with, because access is gonna be maintained to emergency vehicle, trash collection, mail, all those is considered when you do the construction activities and the temporary traffic control plan.
Yeah, again, the selling pitch on this, that it's gonna help all these major stakeholders. So, Mr. Manager, I guess you heard from my colleagues, we just wanna make sure we have a plan of action to have less impact on the community, on those folks that, within that area that the work's gonna be commenced on. That's all we're saying.
And, I'm sorry, if I may add, continue communication with the community is gonna be ongoing
Yes.
throughout construction.
Okay.
So there's gonna be construction advisories, there's gonna be more door-to-doors,
That's
you
all.
know, so we'll
Yeah.
be like boots on the ground, talking to the impacted stakeholders,
There you
letting
go.
them know, this is what's gonna happen from this time to this time, this is what you can expect. And they'll have our contact information as well. They have any questions, concerns, they'll come to us before they go
Not
to
a
you.
problem.
And we'll try to minimize those impacts
That's all we
as much
say.
as we can.
Mr. Manager?
Just,
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I was gonna say, just to add to what you're saying, so for example, if they're starting on one street, like Joaquin was saying, and they're moving to the next street, within that window, when you guys know that you're gonna move to the next street, probably updating that street of residents and letting them know
We always
that
give
they're gonna
them
move
at
forward.
least a week before construction starts and, you know, within their area.
And they will complete each construction site on each street before moving to the next street, because a lot of times stuff get left undone, and then you have a big mess, and you know they have to come back and do that stuff. So, like keeping it basically together, like he said, moving from one street to the next. Don't move to the next street until this one is complete, because if you don't, then you just have a project that's incomplete, and then you have to come back and fix all of that stuff, like the 715 ordeal.
Vice Mayor, then our city manager had a comment.
Yeah, this is for the manager. Also, I would contact Palm Beach County Water Utilities when this project, you know, to see if they have any plans to bring in any water lines or whatever. You know, they're always upgrading throughout the city. So that way, when they tear up this road or the side of the road, if they're going to come in behind them or whatever, work in conjunction with the contractor or something, because we see it too often. We pave streets, we do this, we do that,
gotta go
and then here they come
Yeah.
to replace a water line, because that communication is not, is,
Mr. Manager, go ahead. You had a comment.
I haven't seen these plans, so I'm just asking a question here. I haven't reviewed anything, but when you're putting in this drainage, and I'm just looking at these pictures, are these lines being run down the center of the street?
Okay, good question. And just to add to your question, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me, before you answer. And the reason are they coming down the center of the street, or are they running in the easement on the edge of the streets, or whatever? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, I'm going to explain that to you. And I have a copy of the plans here if you want to take a look, the 60% set that we submitted to the city. This is the way that we design it, right? So the road is about 20 foot wide, and we have water running on one side, water main, and the sewer main on the other side. So let me go back to the slide.
Well, just tell us, I mean, we'll
Because it varies, right? So what we're doing is we're shutting down one lane, as I mentioned. We're gonna shut down one lane for the construction, so the trunk line is gonna be run basically in the
No,
middle.
that's not my question. My question to you is, we know where the water and the waste and the sewer lines are.
Correct.
I want to know where the stormwater lines are going.
Okay, I'm telling you. So the street has two lanes, right? Because they're two-lane roadways. The trunk line is gonna be in the middle of one of the lanes, because we don't want the manholes to be on the wheel path, right? We cannot put it outside the asphalt, the roadway asphalt, right? Because we have water on one side or sewer on the other side. So one of the lane is gonna be dedicated to run the trunk line just down the middle of that lane. So that way, when you drive on that road, the manhole covers, they're gonna be right down the middle. So your wheels are gonna be free of any bumping or anything.
The problem with what you're saying, what you're designing is here on the muck soil, those streets, whatever you put in is not going to settle. Right? Because when you demuck and you bring in the clean fill below and above the pipe, and then you put in the manholes, that's gonna stay. But by you having them in the center of the street, one lane or the other lane, the streets are gonna sink, guaranteed. Whether it be in South Bay, Belle, Glade, or Pahokee, if it's in the Glades, that's gonna happen. All of us are born and raised here, and we know it. So as those streets settle, in your manhole, you run it down one of the lanes, as the street settles, yours is gonna stay the same. As the street settles, it's gonna be stand up, and it's gonna be an enormous maintenance issue for the city in the years to come. If you had it in the easement, even though you have water, you're fighting water and wastewater, sewer, you don't have that issue.
Okay.
So the way you're designing it will be, as the years go by, an issue, a maintenance issue for the city.
Let me interject something, and I'm gonna take full responsibility for this one. I assume, Mr. Manager, that you looked at this already.
Never
Now,
saw
what
it.
you just told me a few minutes ago, I mean, I'm appalled by that. So if we can, we're gonna go ahead and close out this workshop and have you guys, if y'all don't mind, sit down with our manager and staff. You heard some of the concerns we had. You guys work out the details, because we never expect to have a presentation without the manager looking at it. That never should happen. Neil, that never should happen. And I assume that he looked at it already, so that way we wouldn't be having this challenge now. We understand you guys gotta do, but we have an engineer too. And he knows our concerns as commissioners. So I'm not beating you up on it. It's just that I expected us to have this before our managers. We tell that to everybody. You follow me? That's what
Yes.
we expect to happen. Not any fault of you guys. I have to take responsibility as chair. And then I give it to city clerk that making sure that you guys sit down with the manager and his staff so we can go over all that. So when they come before us, he knows what we have issues and concerned about. He's been at it for 50 years. Okay? So we're gonna go ahead and just close this out now, because I really thought you looked at it. Okay? Commissioner, any last comments? And again, it's not any fault on you guys. Please don't take it that way. It's on me. Okay? So I want you guys to schedule a meeting with the manager so he can talk with you what his concerns are and some of our concerns. And so when we come back together, then we all have a plan of action, okay?
Okay,
All right,
perfect.
Commissioner, we good with that?
Sounds great.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Have a minute or two.
Clerk, we're going to go ahead and call this workshop to order for Monday, March 17, 6 p.m. Please call the roll.
Almazan,
Here.
Collins, Reese, Wilson.
Here. Can we get the approval of the agenda for the workshop, please?
So moved.
Motion by Vice Mayor Amazon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Collins. Call the roll.
Almazan,
Aye.
Collins.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye. Madam Clerk, take it away.
Yes, sir. This is discussion for the regular meeting for March 17, 2025. We'll begin with a public hearing relating to fiscal year 2024-2025 budget amendment. Under presentations, we have Torrey Island Barbecue Showdown 2025, a planning and zoning departmental update. Item 4, special recognition of Our Brother's Keeper Community Assistant Program. Item 5, special recognition of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. Under approval of consent agenda items, we have approval of city minutes from our meeting February 24th, 2025. It's item 7, ratification of a revised lease of Drawbridge Cafe at Torrey Island between the City of Belle Glade and Diamond Sparkling Sports Club and Lounge LLC. Item 8, ratification approval to apply for the Florida Department of Transportation Small County Outreach Program, SCOP, for fiscal year 2027-2028. Item 9, award of ITB number 03-2024, Airport Master Drainage Improvement to Ridgedale and Son, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $712,555, and authorization for mayor to execute contract upon receipt of registered performance and payment bonds. Item 10, approval of amendment number 1 to the contract for comprehensive plan update services with Kimley Horn and Associates and Inc., and authorization for mayor to execute. Item 11, approval of amendment number 1 to professional services agreement with Pittman Law Group, PL. Under adoption of resolutions, we have the following. Item 12, amendment to the State of Florida Department of Transportation Public Transportation Grant number G1Z28 for drainage improvements at the Belle Glade State Municipal Airport to increase funding. Item 13, resolution relating to finances, providing for an amendment to fiscal year budget beginning October 1st, 2024 and ending September 30th, 2025, approving associated budget amendment and providing an effective date. Item 14, approval to ratify the purchase order for ball field improvements at Airport Park and waiving competitive procurement for the same and for other purposes. Item 15, granting approval for B&B Land Ventures LLC, Hillsborough Estates Homeowner Association, Inc. site plan for the Hillsborough Estates Plan Unit Development at this property located approximately 800 feet west of State Road 80, adjacent to Southwest Avenue G. Item 16, granting approval for the Palm Beach County Water Utilities Site Plan Amendment at 2055 West Canal Street South, Belle Glade, Florida, parcel number 04-36-43-36-01-003-0010. Item 17, granting approval for Zelmine Pierre's site plan at Southwest 5th Street, Belle Glade, Florida, parcel control number 04-37-43-1-15-002-070. Item 18, approving Florida Department of Environmental Protection to extend agreement number 3 to agreement number LPA 0091 for Northwest Southwest 3rd Avenue B Extension Corridor Stormwater Conveyance Improvements Project. Item 19, approval to enter into the City of Belle Glade addendum for the purchase of rodeo services by Double K Rodeo Production, Inc., waiving purchasing procedures for the purchase and granting authority for the mayor to execute said addendum. Item 20, approving a participation agreement for the interlocal agreement with the School District of Palm Beach County, and municipalities in Palm Beach County for coordinated planning.
Are there any questions If not,
I have a comment.
all right, go ahead, Vice
On
Mayor.
item 15.
15.
Yes, sir. We know Hillsborough submitted the site plans and everything. If we could work with them, because all these kids are gonna walk to school to either Glade Central or Pioneer. And there's a sod field that the city in between owns an easement. Because Mr. Keefe told me before he left, when I spoke to him on other issues, we need to work with that developer and the neighbor next door to make a sidewalk or something to connect to those schools. Because these kids are just walking through the grass early in the morning or stuff. Once this development gets going, we need to try to make it where, they don't have to, cut across a grass field or anything, something like that. And the city does have an easement that goes right in the middle of the sod field that he plants sod over it. I mean, makes sense, for him to use it, But we need to find a way where we could connect, make it easier for all these, these are almost, I don't know how many homes, I've read it, there's quite a bit of homes and townhomes coming in. Eventually, when it's all planned out, you're gonna have a lot of children out there.
Well, Mr. Manager, would you take the time and meet with the Vice Mayor and the powers to be on that project? And perhaps you want to have Captain Payne in there as well. Can you guys maybe schedule a meeting, sit down and talk? Okay. Okay, thank you. Anyone? Okay.
It was just a comment, not a question.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so under second reading of ordinances, we have item 21, ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Belle Glade, Florida, ordinance amending ordinance number 13-14 to modify the existing Abidjan Estates Plan Unit development on property located approximately 800 feet west of State Road 80 and adjacent to Southwest Avenue G, as more particularly described herein, renaming the existing Abidjan Estates Plan Unit development the Hillsborough Estates Plan Unit development, and removing a 300-seat movie theater, general office building, retail space, and a daycare center, and adding 77 single-family homes, 28 multifamily residential units, basketball courts, and a community building, and in open space areas, providing for codification and approval of property development regulations. I have item 22, ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Belle Glade, Florida, adopting an annual update to the five-year capital improvement schedule in accordance with section 163.3177, Florida statutes. And that's all my reports, sir.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Any questions for our city clerk? If not, Mr. Manager, anything for the good order for the workshop?
No, sir.
Ms. Evans, anything good for the order on public relations for the workshop? I think Apple Arts this year, one of the best it had in years. Yeah, a lot of kids participated. The parade, yeah, yes. Good job, good job. All right, Council, the other half was Glenn Torsilia, or anything for us tonight?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Captain Payne, anything for the good and order for the workshop?
No, sir.
All right, Palm Beach County Rescue's not here, okay.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes,
we do have two presentations if we would like to entertain them for the workshop.
okay.
We have a presentation that is scheduled for the 6:30 meeting, however, Mrs. Ernest is here.
Okay.
Presentation item number 2.
So noted, okay. Thank you. Oh, that's, you in disguise, didn't see you back there.
Have not formally come. We've always met in the city. You guys have been wonderful, and I felt like I owed it to you to stop for a moment and thank the commission and thank everything. I've dealt with you all, but I've never just formally done a presentation. And this year especially, the city's commitment and the funds that they've put toward making our event go on are just enormous. And I have an immense gratitude and wanted to express that to you.
Yes.
I have never really talked about how last year ended with our inaugural barbecue. I can back up even further and say Back in the days, in the 80s and 90s, when my grandfather was alive, he used to bring a semi-truck full of chicken, a semi-truck full of corn, and a semi-truck of Bush's baked beans. And I always kind of wanted to do, he fed the whole community on 7/15 for free. And I kind of wanted to honor that and continue that, but I also wanted it to benefit something else. So at that time, Mrs. Stein had told me about the museum's need. And I have been on an ongoing, as well as the city, mission to attract a hotel in our area. So the only way to really do that was I embarked on a massive marketing campaign to highlight our area. So I just wanted to kind of backtrack, say thank you, tell you where we were. Last year, we did raise the $61,000. We had competitors from 9 states within America. We had 3.2 million people watch us on YouTube. Wow. So Belle Glade was on podcasts and YouTube and TV stations. This year, I've taken it a step further. We are, and I did advertise some last year. This year, we have advertised in every national barbecue magazine, every national airboat magazine. So the people learning about the city of Belle Glade, we're at about 9.4 million that advertising views. To me, it's great to have that on our eyes. That's why I'm passionate. That's why I made a list, not to waste y'all's time, because I am very passionate. Yes. I did want to say thank you. So we've had, this year we have a national cornhole association. That's a national event. It's sanctioned by the American Cornhole League. ESPN2 is going to come and film some of it. I think it's really great that's our 3rd television station that's filmed, and we'll have all 3 of them again. Destination Palm Beaches, the Cultural Council, Destination Florida, we're on all their radars now, and our advertising is on all of theirs. And we have now branched with Lore and myself into the Cultural Council, who doesn't even have representation west of 95. So now we are going to have a standing interactions with them to kind of highlight more out here. This year, we're partnering with you guys. We'd like to benefit a Veterans Memorial within the city of Belle Glade. Last year, the H.E. Hill Foundation underwrote on the entire event, as well as the city, with all your resources. This year, we've had over 62 sponsors, and 1/3 of them have never sponsored anything in Belle Glade. And they did $2,500 was about a minimum of what they did. So it's really nice it's really great for me to stand up here and tell you that we have that many companies that are now coming and wanting to invest in our area. As of a result of last year, we are in negotiations with Fairmont Inn and Holiday Inn Express. I did honestly have a location in South Bay, but now we're moving to Belle Glade. Thankfully, I wanted that in the first place. So we are in tight negotiations with them on that. We have a national airboat magazine that's going to do a whole write-up, and they do all over here, and they do in Australia. So kind of neat. We filmed with Event Fest the other day, and they are going to also come out and film ours and do it a series with Palm Beach Television. They are also going to put us on Destination Palm Beach, and once they came out here, Mr. Lee's doing a fly-in, so Belle Glade will be filmed twice during that for their series, so that's also good. This year, online, we've sold 622 tickets. 85% of them are external to Belle Glade, Palm Beach. A lot of Palm Beach, or Pompano, Boynton. So I just wanted to kind of give you some numbers because, like I said, I'm always like, gimme, do. But it has been a really positive, great thing. We're having the sanctioned cornhole boards made with the city symbol, so y'all can use them with Parks and Recreation or whatever you want to use. We also developed some spools, and we made some special ones, the spool tables for the city of Belle Glade that we would be giving to you, of course. And we're hoping that you can all join us at the sponsor dinner. I think a lot of you have already RSVP'd. And we just want to thank you very much. I'm also often squawky, but I'm never up here being as appreciative, and I'm very appreciative for everything. But I'm hope that you see that this is helping the entire area as well. So I brought some little things, just all of our social media and all of our logos has the city of Belle Glade in them. So I'm gonna give them to Z and she can hand out and you can kind of see what we're highlighting as well. So thank you very much.
Before you sit down, Jennifer, I'm
Oh, yeah,
sure-
do you have any questions?
Not questions, but comments, and I'll start it. You know, Jennifer, you do a lot for this community. You don't do it for show. You do it from your heart. You're passionate, the work. You use passionate, even with your grandfather, but you go way beyond the call of duty. And at some point in time, we'll recognize that, but tonight.
You recognize it all the
Yeah.
time, actually.
Yeah.
I don't, they did it at the chamber last year next to you,
Yes,
actually,
yes.
so.
I know a lot of times, and I don't want to
Thank you.
broadcast it, but when these kids are in trouble, they need who we call Jennifer. You're always there to support this community, and I'm telling you, thank you so much.
Well-
my colleagues like to say something too. So, Mr. Collins, Bob, and then we're gonna have Lomax. Believe it or not.
I just came for thanks to y'all, actually. You have been, Lomax has stepped in ways that I can't even bitch about him right now, honestly. So I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful.
Jennifer, I just want to say thank you as well too. I mean, I get the best of both worlds, so I get to see
That's great.
what you do on both ends. And just like Mayor said, and when it comes down to the kids, we know at the other organization that you are definitely boots on the ground, and we thank you for carrying out your grandfather's legacy.
I'm way
Thank
better
you.
than he was. No, honestly, I did not mention, so not to monopolize on y'all's time, I know it's important and y'all move for me, but almost every event, we have community involvement. So Project Lift has made all of our, U.S. Sugar donated these railroad ties, and they made all their projects. All of our children here made the trophies that are going all over the world with people, and that I like that a lot. So that's a really good thing too. So.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you for everything that you do. Your commitment, your love to the Glades is undeniable. Thank you for just, doing what you do. What can you explain a little bit the fly-in? What you mentioned?
The financing?
Yeah.
Well, last year I paid for the entire event, which was.
Fly-in or finance?
Fly-in? Oh, I thought you said financing. Fly-in? Oh, okay. So Mr. Willie Lee. So the average ag pilot and pilot in general is over 65. When COVID hit, it was really hard for them to recruit people because most of them are elderly and we're a higher risk population. In order to entice them to come, they used to do a fly-in every year, and the area youth, which I should have brought flyers, but I'll make Mr. Lee come. But they fly, so pilots from all over Florida bring their own planes, use their own fuel, and they go out and they use the Belle Glade Airport, which is this Saturday morning. They fly, the children sign up, they learn about aircraft, and they fly them around the region. They usually fly around 100 kids. If you have kids that are under 18, they really should go. It's a really neat event. The way we were able to entice some of them was the barbecue. So we're going to shuttle them out, the pilots who are using their planes and things, to enjoy the barbecue for the day. But yes, the city's been generous to him too. The Parks and Recreation are helping him a little bit, but they have 21 planes, and we worked with PBSO is going to bring in their stuff and educate the children on that. He's got, and I'm sorry, I don't know plane lingo, but there's like fighter jets and helicopters and a couple of different things that are come in and that the kids can experience and touch. They are going to start at 8:30 Saturday morning, and they have a couple little events and like educational things, and they fly them for about 10 minutes. They do a loop from Belle Glade Airport out. They're going to take them over Torrey Island so they could see the event from up top around Pahokee and then land back. And I think they're planning on flying at least 100 kids. It really depends on how many show up, and we really had to recruit those pilots, so I made them goodie bags and told them we would take care of them and get them back and things like that.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I'm going to do like the commission, tell you how much we appreciate everything you're doing, and you're doing what the city of Belle Glade should have been doing for years.
I think
we deeply appreciate it, but Since we have the commissioners here, you want to just touch and say a few things about the drawbridge?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if, well, the best part about the drawbridge is we finally, Miss Brenda Bryant helped us too, got the DBPR to inspect us. So the building, as you know, was older and it just had a lot of repairs we went through. We've scrubbed it from top to bottom, and we are going to have our inspection 7 a.m. on Wednesday, so hopefully she'll be open Thursday or Friday. She is going to be open 6 days a week. Actually, she has a lot of drive. She's got a lot of learning, but she wants to be open 7 days a week. But I kind of tried to tell her you need a day off. But so it will be breakfast buffet and lunch buffet. It's Southern soul kind of food. There will be menu items as well. So we recognize that if a lot of the guys only had so much time for lunch, and men and women, and we need somewhere to meet, we're going to film there as a destination lunch thing whenever she's open. She's going to do Friday and Saturday nights. We're going to get karaoke and maybe like a guy with a guitar sometimes. It's going to have a full bar. And Sunday brunch. And we really wanted something for like the church folks to go after church and come and have a good brunch, but it will have Bloody Marys and mimosas too. So she's got lots of learning to do, but I got my thumb on her and we're moldable, and if she don't do it, she's out the door, you know. But she really, they have cleaned it. Like it's really probably in the best shape it's been in years and years. And she's very excited. Sandra is. I did all the financing personally. Just because through the barbecue and like everyone else, it's just we need it. So I'm happy to have that.
Commitment, Jennifer. Let's get Jennifer another minute.
That's not what I'm here for, but thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and of course, she's going to do special events and things. I'm sure if y'all want to reach out, she has a catering menu she's developing and all of that good stuff.
You're
So,
awesome.
all
Thank
right,
you.
y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. We have one more, if we want to entertain one more
Yes,
presentation.
yes.
It's from the Hard Knocks Foundation,
Okay.
Derek Lester. Derek.
Thank you. That's your sister.
Or y'all can tell your name and what school first, and then y'all can start.
Why you not talking
I'm gonna talk fast.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, go ahead, guys. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Toyan Roberts, and I go to Glade Central High School. I hope this letter finds you well. On behalf of the Hard Knocks Foundation, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the city of Belle Glade for your generous sponsorship of our recent trip to Atlanta. Your support has made a significant impact on the lives of the children we serve.
Hey, my name is Braxton, and I go to Glade Day School. During our visit, the kids had an incredible experience at the Martin Luther King Park. They not alone enjoyed recreation activity, but also engaging in valuable learning experience that will stay with them for a lifetime. The opportunity to participate in such enriching events is valuable for their personality growth and development.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Algernon Crawford, and I attend Glade Day School. We are thrilled to share that our team won the 7-on-7 football tournament during the trip in Atlanta. This victory is a testament to their hard work and dedication. As a result of their success, they have now been invited to compete in the National 7-on-7 tournament in Nashville, Tennessee, from April 11th through April 13th, 2025. This opportunity will allow them to showcase their skills on a larger stage and further develop their athletic talents. Your support plays a crucial role in helping us keep us kids off the streets and away from gangs by providing them with positive outlets and activities. We believe that through sports and community engagement, we can foster resilience and hope among our youth.
Wow, let's give them a big hand. Give our young coach. Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
God bless you. I'm Coach Lester, CEO, founder of the Hard Knocks Foundation. It's good to see you again, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
These kids have been doing a phenomenal job here. We've been going all season from Fort Myers to Miami. We'll be to Atlanta. This coming week, we'll be headed with the kids to Tampa, just keeping them off the streets, doing something positive. And then after that, we'll be headed on to Nashville for the Nationals, which we'll be back knocking on different doors. You may know some people, some avenues that we can knock on some doors to help get the kids to that national tournament that's going to take place in April. But we just want to thank the city. Also, we want to thank the Hill Foundation. Believe it or not, when we first got started, we wrote them a letter, and they were able to plant the seed into what we were doing. And then we had a chance to meet with businessman Brockman. You guys probably know John, who planted another seed. And then we wrote the city, and then the city planted another seed. And then the kids got so excited, believe it or not, that they said, Coach, we want to do this. And they began to go fundraise. And they went over and fundraised in the community and raised enough of money to get them to Tampa, which is there. We'll be leaving on Friday to go to Tampa for another competition. So I'm so proud of these kids because we don't just teach them about handouts, but we try to teach them how to invest in themselves. And I'm kind of like my daddy, and I told him, if you guys help, I'm going to help you. So we want to thank the city. And if you guys got any other opportunities or people that we can reach out to on the behalf of our trip to April, feel free to share it with us. And we just thank you and thank you. And I tell you, God, we can't just explain the appreciation of keeping these kids out of trouble. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Let's give them another big hand. Thank you. Coach, I'm sure I'll give my colleagues a quick second because we got to go into our next meeting. Well, we're not meeting now, but from all of us, thank you to these kids. Congratulations on your victory, but more importantly, your commitment, Coach, and these kids' commitment to doing the right thing. Let's give them another big hand. So reach out to that young man at some point in time, okay? See the gray hair guy right there?
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you, guys. Good luck. Good luck. Sir? Okay. Any audience comment, Madam Clerk? Any audience comment?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and close out our workshop unless the commission will have another person. All right, this meeting is adjourned. We have, need to move right into our. Okay. Mic check, everybody? Okay.
Mic check.
Okay. We're gonna go right into our regular scheduled meeting. We're gonna call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes. Almason?
Here.
Collins?
Here.
Reese?
Here.
Wilson?
Here. We're pleased to have with us our very own Commissioner, Dr. Robert L. Reese, gonna lead us in the invocation. And after the invocation, we'll ask Commissioner Collins to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you don't mind, please stand in for the invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, we are truly thankful to you, Lord, for this beautiful day that you've made. We thank you for this opportunity to serve this community. As we come together, we invoke your presence to be here among us, Lord, that you may guide us in everything that we say and we do. We want to ask you to bless those kids who represent us in Atlanta and now into Tampa. And Lord, we pray that you open up the windows of heaven, pour down a blessing upon them that they cannot be able to handle. And Lord, as we come together, we just pray a blessing for our staff and for our community. Father, you know our hearts, and our heart is to build this community up economically, that all citizens may be blessed. And we just ask you just to guide us in all of that we do. We ask it in your precious name, and all those who love the Lord said,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, commissioners, thank you, staff, and thank you, audience. Okay, there any addition or deletion from our agenda?
Just for the record, we just wanted to note that item 2 has already been presented during the regular workshop meeting. So we'll just start with, under presentation, we'll start at number 3.
Okay, so what's your pleasure, Commissioner, on the agenda?
So move.
Motion by Vice Mayor Amazon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Collins. All right, call the roll, please.
Amazon.
Aye.
Collins.
Aye.
Reese.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye. Again, welcome to our regular scheduled meeting. Thank you all again for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. We hope to have a very productive meeting. Are there any elected officials in here that I fail to recognize? We do have Ms. Bryant representing Senator Bourbon office. Y'all give her a big hand. Thank you for what you do, Ms. Bryant. Okay, let's move on to our program. I do see the pastor of Mount Karen, South Bay, Dr. Bean. Good to see you, sir. Okay, all right, Madam Clerk.
Okay. At this time, we'll open a public hearing at 6:30 relating to the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget amendment. If there's anyone wishing to appear before and speak on this item, please rise to be sworn in. There being none, this public hearing is closed at 6:30 p.m. Moving on to presentations, item 3, Planning and Zoning Departmental Update by Mr. Stephen Kramer, our Planning and Community Redevelopment Director.
Right.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Steve Kramer for the record. Mr. Mayor, at your direction, each month the department will provide a presentation of their responsibilities, and I've been chosen to go first. Our department's the Planning and Community Redevelopment Department. Not sure how to work this. Which button is it? Our department has 3 divisions and 10 employees. The divisions are planning and zoning, building and permitting, and code enforcement. Planning and zoning is responsible for the comprehensive plan, which guides future development. We also implement the zoning code and land development regulations. We serve as staff to the Planning and Zoning Board, which is advisory to this board. They handle development applications. We also serve as staff to the Board of Adjustment, which handles variances and appeals of staff determination. They make final decisions for the city. The building division intakes building permit applications. We review the applications for compliance with the Florida Building Code and other codes. We issue building permits. We process the inspections for the building permits. And we conduct research regarding historical building permit applications. Code enforcement enforces all city codes and ordinances. Last month, Mr. Dowdell gave a presentation regarding their responsibilities, so I didn't go over it in this presentation. And Mr. Mayor, those are my presentation comments. If you have any questions or comments for me?
Well, Mr. Kramer, thank you for the presentation. So we all know how important it is to have planning and zoning. It really dictates what's coming in and what's going out for the city.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Any questions, commissioners? Okay.
Yes. Or if you can say or anything, are there any new businesses coming in or talking to the city and the works? If you can say something, I know sometimes, you don't want to let the cat out the bag, just to say.
We're very busy in our department. We have a lot of applications, but I don't have any major businesses to discuss tonight.
Did you get a lot of permits?
We're very busy with permits and zoning applications and so forth, special events as well.
And that is a source of revenue too, right?
Certainly.
Yes, yeah. Good job. Let's give our planning and zoning department.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager, we, meaning my colleagues, like to thank you for allowing the departments to come before us and share with the audience about their duties and responsibility. It really getting a lot of good feedback on that, so thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna have, another presentation.
Right, but at this time, may we ask the commissioners to step down for the next two presentations?
Okay.
And I'll call up Mr. Albert Dardell, our code enforcement manager.
Gold around his neck there, you know, I need my sunglasses on.
I found this.
This item is a special recognition of our Brothers Keepers Community Assistance Program, by Mr. Albert Dardell, code enforcement manager.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. As I spoke to you all a few weeks ago in regards to projects that we were trying to do in code enforcement to assist our citizens, our second project was a project where we assisted a citizen in the community in getting their house in ship shape. The house needed to be painted very severely. We reached out to a group at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to assist in that. They came in, purchased all the supplies, did all the work. We did it on a Saturday morning. They brought enough people. The job took 2.5 hours. And it's a fantastic job. We have pictures here of before and after. And I'm telling you, it was amazing.
Look at that. Wow.
The paint was secured from the Solid Waste Authority. City incurred no expense. I just want to congratulate the church for just all the hard work and the love they put into this project. Because in order for us to get to the city the way we want it to be, we all got to pitch in. And our Brothers Keeper is one of the caveats that code enforcement is embracing to solicit volunteers to help us throughout the community to help those who are in need. We don't look for low income, we just look for a need. And if we can fulfill that need, we're going to be trying to do that at the best of our ability. It's not enough for us to go out and write violations. We're trying to correct them as well. I believe that's a major part of what we should be doing. And along with this project, we had one of our contractors to come in and repair some small holes in the roof at their expense. And that was the Brockman Investment Group, which I'll be asking later on. So I received a lot of good feedback from our community partners that they're willing to help us to make the city look better, and that is their contribution to giving back. This is President Reed of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I'd like to present this certificate to him. It says, Certificate of Recognition, proudly presented to Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Belle Glade branch, for your exceptional contribution on the beautification of 332 Northwest 12th Drive within the city of Belle Glade, Florida. Presented this 17th day of March, 2025, Honorable Mayor Steve Wilson.
And Commissioner. Mr. President, we get a picture with you
Get a
first.
picture up there.
We'll allow you to make comments if you like. You have any more?
They want to take pictures.
Anybody else?
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Hold it, man.
There's one more over here. You got it, Brenda?
The mic yours. Mr. President.
I'd like to thank your city for this recognition. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is pleased to accept this recognition. My name is Richard Reed, and I am currently serving as a full-time missionary with my wife, and we have been blessed to be assigned to work in the Belle Glade branch of our church. We will be here for another 13 or 14 months. When our family was young, about 40 years ago, we moved to South Florida at the time that I accepted employment in Miami, and we lived in South Florida for 8 years before returning to our homeland in Utah to continue raising our family. And then about 2 years ago, we were called by the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to serve a full-time mission in the Florida Fort Lauderdale mission, and we were assigned to serve in the Belle Glade branch. So we're very pleased to be here, and we are pleased to have been able to complete this service project. We had several members of our church, including some of the young men of our church, as well as 6 full-time missionaries who are here at their own expense for a period of 2 years. They don't stay in the same place for 2 years, but they are here for 2 years at their own expense, helping with the people of South Florida, and it's a pleasure to be able to do that. So thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Okay.
I would like to say to you that thank you for your commitment. But I want to yield the floor to, and so that you all know that we think on the same lines. It's all about servants and what you guys are doing there. But we have on the dais a pastor, Dr. Robert L. Reese, and I'll let him close us out with comments. From one man of God to the next. How about that?
Again, as we're called to be servants of our community and to help those who are in need. And we thank you so very much for being the light that shows others what we have to do as believers. And so we just thank you for coming to our community. And I hope you stay a lot longer than, 14 months?
Another 14 months.
14, so stay a lot longer.
Okay.
And we thank you for everything that you do. God
Okay.
bless you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, you good? One more?
Our next presentation is, can we have Mrs. Diana Hughes, Finance Director in the Department of Finance? I want to read this for the record. This is a news release. The Government Finance Officers Association of the United States has awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting to the City of Belle Glade for its annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2023. The report has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, which includes in demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the report. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represent a significant accomplishment by government and its management.
All right, let's go.
I just have one question. You have any more room on your wall for you?
No, sir. We're moving to another office. This office.
Again, thank you so very much for all the hard work that your department does. And it seems like every year you hit the mark or you exceed it. And we're very proud of you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Diana, the floor is yours.
Oh, goodness. Well, let me say, in order to get this award, you have to process accounts payables and all that kind of good stuff, which it takes more than just my department, following all of the policies and procedures that the commission lay out for us to follow. The auditors come in, they're here, they dig, they look, they ask questions, and then Miss Irie is now beginning to walk the path of putting this document together. She's doing an amazing job, and so we submit it for an award, and they take forever to review it, and then at this time, about this time every year, we get this little email that tells us, you know, check the website, and then we find out that we get it. But we've gotten it consecutively since 2012.
Yes.
So prior to that, I think it started in 1995, and there was some years that we didn't get it, but consecutively now since 2012. And I have confidence that the city will continue to get it moving forward.
Yes, thank you. I can tell you guys, if there's a penny missing, she's gonna find it. Right, Z?
I didn't see it. You gonna take care of that? Can you have one? All right, move this thing along. It's getting late.
Yes, let's get it done.
Don't you rocking and rolling.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Yes, may we have approval of the consent agenda items 6 through 20?
What's your pleasure?
Motion approved.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reese. Audience comment?
No, sir.
Commissioner comments? Call the roll.
Almazan?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Wilson?
Aye.
And we're going to second final reading of an ordinance, ordinance 2020-25, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Belle Glade, Florida, amending ordinance number 03-14 to modify the existing Abidjan Estates Plan Unit development on property located approximately 800 feet west of the State Road 80, adjacent to Southwest Avenue G, as more particularly described herein, renaming the existing Abidjan Estates Plan Unit Development to Hillsborough's Estates Plan Unit Development, and removing a 300-seat movie theater, general office buildings, retail space, and a daycare center, and adding 77 single-family homes, 28 multifamily residential units, basketball courts, a community building, and open space areas, providing for conditions and approval and property development regulations, providing for conflict, severability, effective date, and for other purposes.
What's your pleasure?
So move.
Motion by Vice Mayor Amazon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Collins. Audience comment?
No, sir.
Commissioner comments? All right, call the roll.
Almazan?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Wilson?
Aye.
Second and final reading of ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Belle Glade, Florida, adopting the annual update to the 5-year capital improvement schedule in accordance with section 163.3177, Pren 3, Florida statutes, providing for the repeal of ordinances or resolutions in conflict, severability, and effective date.
What's your pleasure?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Reese, there's second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Collins. Audience comment?
No, sir.
Commissioner comments? All right, call the roll.
Almazan?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Wilson?
Aye.
Our Announcements, our next workshop meeting is April 21st, 2025 at 6 PM, followed by a regular meeting at 6:30 PM here in City Hall Commission Chambers, and that's all I have for
All
today.
right, real quick, let's talk about workshop. Did we
Mayor.
schedule, Commissioner Reese,
Mr.
he
Mayor.
came up with a date for the noise and chicken ordinance for that workshop?
We have, if I may, we have Bill Poole here. If he could just give us a brief update on Harrisburg. It passed and everything, but I think it would be good.
Okay,
for the
Bill, you,
community.
you
Mr.
didn't
Poole,
even see you out there.
like,
Come
what are your
on.
projections?
You just got in? Yeah, come on, welcome. Pull the mic up, yeah.
We are still in the process of getting some final approvals. Got soil water management, Palm Beach County are the two big ones. Outside of that, I'd say hopefully, fingers crossed, you have a timeline. Soon. Those are the two biggest obstacles.
We need it, yeah.
May need some help with the county, but we're just working through the process right now.
We've always been there for you guys, so we'll be there. Yes, sir.
Mr. Poole, I have a comment or question.
Yes, sir.
Moving forward, I know you don't own the property next to the sod farm on the south side, I guess between Pioneer Park, and as this community comes along, we're gonna have a lot of kids going to Pioneer Elementary and stuff. I know the city, I think, owns an easement in the middle of that sod. So I wish we could work together, or work proactive, not reactive, to make a connection or somehow make it, maybe the city gives them that easement and we work towards the canal or the back so we can connect something, a pathway for the school. And not only for the school, it would be for the school and Pioneer Park is right there, you know. So I cut through there to go to Pioneer Park myself. So, you know, in the future, whatever, we speak to the manager, work with him, somehow we could make a connection there so those children don't have to walk through the sod farm or anything. Okay, all right.
And you'll follow up, right? Okay, thank you. I think the gentleman has. Hit that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Good evening. My name is Craig Unger. I'm an engineer. Have been working on this project, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank your staff, especially your planning department and your building department, because they've been working with us through the entire process, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you very much.
Yes, good to hear that. Thank you. Let's give our staff another big hand. Thank you. Good to hear that. That's one thing I say our city manager take pride on, making sure that builders and developers, when they come, they can go through a streamline, not to be forever, and work with you guys. And good to hear that, Bill. Yeah. Yes. Well, don't give him any credit. I'm talking about the staff. Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, guys. Okay. Okay. Going back to the workshop, did we come up with a date, Commissioner Reese? We really need to get that ordinance workshop in the chicken. We really need to do that, guys, ladies.
And noise.
I'll reach out to everyone.
We gotta come up with a date, okay? We gotta come up with a date.
But doesn't that fall under the sheriff's department?
Well, Chef need to have a workshop with us, so we need to get on top of that. There's not a weekend that goes by that we don't get the complaints, Mr. Manager, about the noise. And he would tell you, 3, 4 in the morning, Mr. Manager, that we gotta do something a little different. That's a win-win for everybody. So let's get that date scheduled. And then the chickens all over the place. We gotta address it, y'all.
Are the chickens the one making the noise?
Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
So many eggs.
Hey, you on the road tonight, Mr. Manager? Okay. City Attorney, anything for the good order? I apologize. We have to do this.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. PBSO, Captain, anything for the good order?
Mr. Mayor, I did have it written down to talk about scheduling that noise ordinance and chicken fiasco date. So you did bring it up, so I'm waiting for it. So if
For the workshop?
The workshop.
Okay, good.
And
you got a solution for us?
No, I'm just waiting for you. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it. But also, if we can also include
in this discussion about our semi trucks parking in the
Oh, truck,
residential area.
okay.
Because I've received.
Well, I think that should be a separate one, because that's gonna take a little more, if you
I
don't
have
mind.
received some complaints about that, and unfortunately, there's no ordinance that allows.
Now, if you guys want to include it, all three, it's up to y'all. I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I know that's gonna take some really diving into it. But if y'all want to do it all together, what's the will of this body? What do y'all want to do?
We could try to do it all together.
Okay, all together? All right, so be it.
Okay. Also, Palm Beach County Police Athletic League, the PAL League, they put out an email to all the district commanders for coaches for a basketball team for the league that they have. They play every Friday at Palm Beach State College in Lake Worth. So I tasked one of my deputies, I tasked anyone that wanted to be a coach. So we got Agent Cowles. He took on the task, and he have a team from Belle Glade, and we drive them over to Lake Worth every Friday to play. But not only do they just play each other, they play all the police athletic league teams from other cities. But I attended Friday because they do have a player of the week, and one of the kids was nominated for player of the week, which was great. It was great to see, but was the most rewarding thing to see is the Pahokee have a team there as well. But most of the parents that come visit or watch these kids play out of all the PAL leagues are from the Glades. So
Really?
I was really excited to know that all these parents actually travel over to watch their kids play. So
Wow. Wow. Thank
that's
you.
all I have, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to ordinance comment. I don't see the chief of fire rescue here, but ordinance comment.
No comments.
Okay, we'll close out with Commissioner Reese with closing comments.
Again, thank you so very much, all of those who attend this meeting. I think it's very important for citizens to be involved in what's going on in our community, and your presence do make the difference. And again, if you have neighbors or friends that did not come with you, invite them to come with you at the next meeting so that they can be involved as well.
Yes.
And once again, thanks to the church for what you did for our community. It truly was a blessing, and we just ask that God will continue to bless your ministry.
Thank you, Commissioner Reese. Commissioner Collins.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you for all the departments throughout the city that does a tremendous job for us, working alongside of us. And see you again at our next meeting. Good night.
Vice Mayor, you've been recognized for closing comment.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank all the residents for coming out today and joining us for our meeting. I want to thank our staff, especially Mr. Johnny and his team, Parks and Works, for all the work they're doing out at Airport Park. It's coming along. We're not there yet, but I can see it's going to be, it's looking very, very good. I would like to thank PSO, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. And I just want to say one thing. We recently traveled to Tallahassee and to Washington to lobby and try to get funds, but very proud that we got Muck people everywhere working security. When we tell them, when they asked us where we're from, we were able to meet some security people from the Muck up there in Washington and in Tallahassee, not security, law enforcement, and they're proud to be Muck steppers up there. So we're everywhere. So I just want to say that, mention that out.
Yes, you're right, Vice Mayor. Thank you all. And let's really, we applaud all of the commissioner, but Commissioner Collins, she's trying her best. She's under the weather, but commitment, you can see she's here committed to make sure she serves the people. Let's give her a big hand for thinking. Yeah, that means a lot. And to the church family, it really, this is the gratification we get knowing that we have the community pouring back. There are a lot of people who complain about things, but you guys are getting it done. You're rolling up your sleeves and you're making it happen. From our heart to y'all, we appreciate that. And the soccer league, quickly, Mr. Manager, can I yield to your park and rec director for 10 seconds? Tell us how's it going. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of people out there. So you have 10 seconds just to tell us.
city manager, community. We have gotten a lot of residents and community members who are flooding Airport Park to play soccer, to practice. We have organized teams that are practicing from youth ages 5 or so on up into high school ages, I'd say about 17 or so. We also have adult leagues that practice on our field. So what we've done, amid us working on the improvements at Airport Park, and we're making a lot of improvements. Airport Park will be a center of attraction in our parks and recreations facilities. So while we're working on making it a sports complex, we've added different amenities there to allow our soccer teams to still practice and play. So when you visit Airport Park, you'll see to the far south end of the park, we now have 2 makeshift soccer playing areas that have large soccer goals. So the teams can practice while we're working on the field. Once the field is completed, we'll have a regulation soccer field as well as a football field, and then we'll have a full-scale baseball 2 baseball fields as well. And we've also added a component to our baseball field which allows all age groups to now play on our fields. Prior to, the fields were just regulated for youth, but now all age groups can play. So we have all the soccer teams coming. We have a lot of community members. It's bustling out there.
Okay. So, Mr. Manager, if I can ask you to give direction to your social media person to make sure we get that captured on our webpage, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot to add. We are also working on adding an indoor fast-paced soccer court to Airport Park as well. So we'll have 2 indoor fast-paced soccer parks as well.
Okay,
to Airport Park.
Thank you, Ms. Roger. 10 seconds, that was 4 minutes.
Well, you know how I am. I'm detailed.
Okay, thank you, and to Mr. Manager, you and staff, Ms. Diana, HR, Johnny's department, all departments, names I felt. I'm telling you guys, when we were in Tallahassee, and they can bear witness, we bragged on you guys. We really bragged on you guys that we are so proud of what you guys done. Now, we still got room to grow, but we are so proud of you guys of what you're doing. Ms. Z, thank you for taking that, taking on and doing all his work, but you are taking the helms and making it work, okay? HR, again, keeping us solid. Now, I don't always recognize the city clerk office, but I got to tonight. You know, you guys, thank you for what you do. We don't give them a hand, y'all, because it's not easy. Not easy. It's tough. But I'm telling you, Mr. Manager, you got an A-team here. Room for improvement. You have an A-team here, and I'm so proud of you guys. Good night, everybody. God bless you all. This meeting is adjourned.